Alright guys, so I don't have the luxury of Twitch chat with me today. I'm feeling ill, but it's another episode of Olli43 reacts to Star Citizen content. And let me just show you this page. Actually, I need to tweak this on the fly. This is why it's good to do it live, because I would have prepared this a lot better. So this is from CIG. I'm ill, by the way, which is why I'm not streaming. I don't remember if I've said that or not. I really am ill. This is called Inside Star Citizen, content driven. I'm excited to hear more. It's 13 minutes long. Yeah, let me know if you've already watched it. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts at the end and all that good stuff. I have not pre-watched it. Let's dive in. Jared.
If you watched last week's 3-hour special edition of Star Citizen Live, you heard a lot about the evolution of this year's patches.
That was a good video.
How often they're going to come out and how our shows are changing to reflect that. And if you didn't, well, I'm not really going to recap all that here. But this week, we sat down with some of the non-feature folk to talk about the content-driven side of this new initiative.
Basically, they're going to work on the game rather than add new features, which is needed, but also this is probably going to make you feel better about them not adding new features all year, I'm assuming. Oh man, look at that suit!
Where did this idea of a content-driven push come from?
Well, as we sort of alluded to in the 1.0 presentation at CitizenCon,
I've not watched it yet.
There's been a desire to get more emphasis on starting to build the story
I need to do that.
and the characters of Star Citizen Universe and getting them actually in game.
The way the content patches are going to break down are we're ultimately trying to provide new content to you each month. Alongside all of this, we're going to be essentially providing new missions, new events, kind of a lot of what we've done before, but taking it up to the next level.
I'm all for new missions.
Start figuring out ways to engage the players in a growing and expanding storyline.
We're going to be sending you all the way around the verse, doing lots of different varied types of gameplay. You'll still be doing events that are prevalent to a story that we're going to be working on as well.
Okay.
As well as new missions that build up the existing roster that we actually have in game already.
Cool.
There will be some content that is only there for a limited amount of time, but ultimately a lot of this content is still going to persist when we hit to Star Citizen 1.0.
Are they going to do mining
we're actually
missions?
Building out the larger content map that exists in the game.
They keep showing the mole.
On top of that, there's going to be a huge focus now on stability and quality of life too, because we want a stable environment for our developers to work in, but we also want a stable game that's less buggy, less crashes, and much more pleasant for you guys to play day to day.
Yes.
What's the word? Today's been rough.
As far as the structure for how we're going to tell the story, one of the things that we were kind of excited to try for it was actually utilizing a storytelling structure that's usually used in TV shows. Basically, there's usually an A story and a B story that happen within a single episode. If you're Seinfeld, you have a C story as well, because they're just that good. But there's the A story is sort of your primary story, your B story is sort of a supplemental ancillary story that sometimes can feed into it, but sometimes can be standalone. And it's just a way to kind of keep the scenes dynamic and kind of make them feel alive. So what we're trying to do is actually utilize kind of a similar thing, but stretched out over a longer period of time. And the idea being that it makes the universe feel bigger. So there's not just one thing happening that's consuming the entire universe. But also, if you're not interested in the A story, for whatever reason it's not engaging you, you have something else that you can kind of
if you don't like Jump Town, there's another place for you to go.
But, you know, if not, one of the two stories will be fun and exciting and kind of offer a new insight to the Star Citizen universe.
Okay.
Currently, the plan is actually that the A story, we've already started it, and is actually going to be going through September. And then the B story is a little bit smaller, but it starts basically in April and goes on. So it's a multi-month thing. So it goes on until about October. Once this A story and B story
crazy to me. They've already figured all this out.
We have a new A story that starts up and a new B story. So we sort of bounce back and forth. So some months we'll have more B story than A story. Some other months we'll have more A story than B story. But it gives us a way to kind of, again, you know, pull in a lot of different facets of the universe, and whether it's gameplay, mission types, ships, and not have to figure out one overarching narrative that somehow encapsulates everything.
This doesn't replace that big storyline that we talked about at CitizenCon.
No, this doesn't replace that, the 1.0 story, but it is actually kind of offering an exciting opportunity to kind of lay the groundwork for that type of storytelling in the game.
I have so many thoughts about all of this, and I'll go over it in a minute.
It spans over a few months, and it is all about a gang that has invaded Stanton, and it's not one of the usual ones either. It's not one of the usual suspects.
So this started in 324, where we made this narrative journey that players will go on.
The big story beat was that there was a new outlaw pack sort of showed up in Stanton's system and was wreaking havoc.
That looks sick.
Known as the Slicers, and were launching basically devastating attacks against the local population.
Targeting cargo ships, stealing cargo, targeting different locations around Stanton, such as UGFs and outposts, inhabiting them, and also going around stealing sensitive data that the CDF do not want them to have.
The CDF had got all of the players to come and help. After the players sort of stopped them from doing that, the Slicers had showed their power and showed what they was really about and brought in an Idris that players had to try and reclaim off of them.
That was cool.
The viciousness of the attacks and the sort of unprovoked aspect of it is just sort of highlighting effectively what the problem is with Pyro, is that you have this sort of lawless haven for outlaws right next door to Stanton, and basically they have the freedom to kind of come and attack when they want to.
So these people just lived in a hole and decided to come to another place and make it a hole?
Some people just love chaos.
Some people just like to see the world burn. Kaboom.
With 401, the player will find themselves in Pyro, ready to defend it or attack it. Depending on which one you have chosen, you'll be locked into that faction. So you can choose the Citizens for Prosperity, the Headhunters, or the Frontier Fighters.
I locked into Headhunters, by the way.
If you're working for the Citizens of Prosperity, you're doing more aid work. You're there to help people. You're not really doing much combat work. They're trying to make sure everyone survives this by passing out food, water, medical supplies.
They're basically like, we believe that there's good in this system, there are certainly bad elements,
Fools.
But you're just going to exacerbate the problem by trying to solve it with violence.
And the Headhunters are an old-time gang who've lived there for a long time. They know the land, they know the rules, and they're unhappy that these rules are being crossed.
Headhunters would want you in their group because they kick ass and they're fun to hang out with.
So they're on the offensive. They're here and they're going, you're not attacking
Need us stay more.
They're basically going to be just trying to kill the Frontier Fighters. And the Frontier Fighters want everybody dead. They're going nuclear Earth. You will be killing civilians. You will be killing Headhunters. You'll be killing Xenothreat. They don't care who. If you are in Pyro and you're not them, you're dead.
What's up the Frontier Fighters' ass?
A lot of explosives.
They're perfect for someone like the Darklaw. I don't know what that says about him.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I do.
Frontier Fighters is basically justice for Stanton.
They just want to live life in Stanton without being interrupted every 5 seconds. They want to make sure that this doesn't happen again.
Are you being honest about the Frontier Fighters right now?
No.
Spoilers.
This
is cool.
Citizens for Prosperity have seemingly found something out, but they're not telling you as an operative exactly what. They are sending you to defend their data runners, and they're trying to get them out of Pyro, and they're asking you to go on the offensive now and attack the Frontier Fighters. Which isn't usual for the CFP. They're trying to be more of a peaceful group in this operation, but now they're not.
So if you didn't want to do combat, tough. Now you got to do combat. Combat's good. It's coming from a Headhunter.
And the Frontier Fighters are aware of this data that the CFP have. They have reported that they think it's to do with their attack plan on Pyro. So they're asking their operatives to take out the data runners that the CFP are trying to get out. and also destroy any CFP-controlled servers to make sure that the data is gone and lost for good.
And the headhunters?
Headhunters, again, carrying on their violent approach of sustaining their locations, reclaiming their locations.
Yep, makes sense.
Where frontier fighters might have set up, they will go back in and explode every material that they had. So
that's not how I did it. I tried bombs.
At the end of all this, you'll learn things.
You might learn a few things about the intentions of each of those factions. You might learn something more about yourself and what moral choices you decided to make, and ways that us as designers got to clear.
It's cool.
At the end of this chapter, this leaves us with the truth of what was really happening and sets the stage for something more to come. The story doesn't end here.
I'll get into it in a minute. I like where this is going, by the way.
Intending to play out, there are actually going to be real ramifications based on the group community choices that are made. So that will actually change the direction of the universe. Or it can either go one way or it can go the other way. So we're actually going to be playing around a lot with ways that players can decide how they want the universe to change. So moving forward, there's going to be a bit of a twist that comes down the road, which is going to escalate basically the situation into one of our first big events. With this, it basically allows us to plan out a bit more and actually, again, start to build a growing narrative.
Giving players more of a reason to engage and be able to talk to each other and like, hey, where did you get that item from? Oh, well, I was here when this happened, and I was here when this happened. Definable points in our universe's history. It adds to the universe, it adds to the story of it all, and it means that you as a player help build this world out.
That's cool. I love it. I'd say I really want to talk about stuff, but I don't want to talk over the video.
Get more fun content in your hands more often, and it's going to provide a much more stable environment for us to work in, but also for you to play in as well.
Yeah.
Up until this point, we've actually been honing in on gameplay mechanics and more kind of under the hood stuff. We have a lot of data pads in the game to kind of do the heavy lifting for storytelling now. This is allowing us to kind of push on those other facets as a way to kind of be higher impact storytelling techniques.
So with a patch almost every month this year, building the narratives of the Stanton and Pyro systems with new content less reliant on big feature work, and packed between as many bug fixes and refinements as we can manage, we aim to deliver a progressive series of improvements in storytelling that will change life in the verse for the better throughout 2025. I got
so much to say, Jared.
Oh, and last month, we launched a new bi-monthly Squadron 42 newsletter with exclusive video content, ringtones, wallpapers, and even merch. If you missed it, you can go to the Squadron 42 or account settings sections of the RSI website to opt in and not miss out on the next exclusive offerings. Or don't. I don't get any commission or anything. I just thought the stickers were neat. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for letting us share the people and process of game development with you.
Commission
we'll be back in
makes
2 weeks with a
the
look
world
at
go
Alpha
round.
402, Supply or Die.
Okay. So, I have some thoughts, guys. Hang on. Let's just, I'll just do this. Cinematic Olli43. So, I have some thoughts. I love this direction, by the way. I think this is totally where CIG should go. Storytelling, bug fixes, less features. Absolutely the right call. But what needs to happen for this to work as well as CIG wanted to happen is like the game needs to be in a more playable state before we start the ball rolling on too much gameplay, because there's definitely been points where the game is not stable enough for me to complete missions or things of that nature. So what I really want to happen is for things to really, like the bug fixes to really come in. I'll be honest, I'll do a video on this tomorrow maybe, but the 4.01 gameplay experience that I had yesterday, after a couple of patches and a couple of back-end server maintenance and all that stuff, has been really good. So I believe it's going in that direction. I've not played 4.02 yet. I will do that as well. I'll give it some time to cook on the PTU, but overall, this is a really promising year for players in Star Citizen. Obviously, as a content creator, it's going to be interesting. The change in dynamic, Star Citizen content creators as a group has been mostly like new features, new updates, new ships, blah, 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 blah. But now it's going to be more what I've been doing for the past couple of years, which is gameplay and experience and less about news. So it's an interesting time to be a Star Citizen fan, that's for sure. But this was a great episode, a lot of promise. We just need those fixes. They are coming in. The proof will be in the pudding. Missions, bug fixes. Missions and bug fixes. That's all we want. And then we'll get more features. But for now, I think CIG are making the right call, doing what they're doing now, which is bug fixes and missions. And less features. Let's slow down. Get everything working. Priorities, bug fixes, and missions. I'm excited. Let me know what you think down below. Thank you for watching. I need some honey and lemon. And yeah, if you haven't caught my video about changes coming to this channel, I'll put a video link in the description. But yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.